It's RJ's world, glad you came to see. It's all about him, though you see me. Cause we are one, we're the sons. The two's been waiting, so here we come. We are one, we're here to draw the souls to we run. We are one, and you can join in or you can join me. We are one, still the whole world's gonna watch us have fun. We are one.
Hello, and welcome to RJ's World. Tonight we have a very special guest, a brave young lady who's here to tell her story. To ensure her protection, we've disguised her face, allowing you only to see a semi-silhouette of her. One of our executives who's been in consistent contact with her for her comfort traveled to her home for this interview so that we all can hear her story. Let's take a look.
Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
How are you?
I'm okay.
I want to commend you for being very brave and telling us your story. I also want you to know that this is a safe place and you're protected here.
Okay.
Do you feel protected?
I don't know.
Do you know what it feels like to be protected?
I don't know.
Is this a confusing question?
No.
Can you tell me what you were thinking about? Or maybe what you think when you hear the word protection?
Something that happened to me?
Something that happened that you were protected from?
No. Kinda. Not really.
Can you tell me about it?
Well, my family, we were living in Shechem, which is north of Shiloh. And I wanted to see the women there. I wanted to see how they lived.
That seems like a natural curiosity.
Yeah. Well, you know how they say curiosity killed a cat?
Yes.
I know what that means. Because I wanted to see them, so I went. But I went alone, and the prince of the country, he saw me,
Okay.
and he liked me,
He liked you?
I guess. He said he loved me.
What happened when he saw you?
He raped me. He forced me. And he took me and he forced me.
He forced you?
Yes. Yes, he forced me.
Are you okay?
Yes.
If he forced you, why did you say he loved you?
Well, afterward, I could tell he was attracted to me. And he was nice, and he did kind things.
Did you feel safe?
I don't know.
Sometimes when you talk about it, it's hard to interpret your emotions. Sometimes you sound fearful or loved. Which is it?
I don't know.
Are you familiar with Stockholm Syndrome?
Yes.
It's when the abused or kidnapped victims bond with their abusers. Do you think that you may have that?
I only said he loved me because he said he wanted to marry me.
Really?
Yes. He went to his dad and asked his dad to arrange for us to be married. So then he and his dad went to my dad and they started talking to him. And my brothers weren't there yet. They were like in a field. And then they came in from the field and then they were talking to my dad and my brothers, and he was desperate to have me. He was even willing to change the law so that ethnicities would not separate us anymore. And he told my brothers, and he asked them to find favor with him so that he could marry me and he would give them anything.
And how many brothers do you have?
12. 6. we have the same mom and dad, but 6 are my half brothers. We only have the same dad.
Do you think what he did was right?
No, I know it was wrong.
Okay. How do you know?
Well, because when they went and asked my dad and my brothers said that they would approve it if they would get circumcised. The part of faith, the man has to be circumcised, and if he's not, it's a no-no. So my brothers told them that if all the men in the land would just get circumcised, he could be with me, and they would change the rules so that the men and the women from both sides could be with each other as long as all the men were circumcised. And Shechem and his dad left, and they went back to their country, and they told all the men that they had to be circumcised, and once they were circumcised, we would all be peaceable together and live as one people and share resources and share wealth. But my brothers didn't mean it. It was a setup, because once all the men of the land were circumcised on the 3rd day, which is the day that they're their weakest and most vulnerable and in so much pain, 2 of my brothers got up and they went and killed all the men. And after they killed all the men, they took the people captive and stole all their money.
Did they plan this with your dad?
No, my dad was upset. He was afraid that if the people retaliated because we were so few, that they would kill us all.
So that's how you know it was wrong? Because your brothers came and got you?
Well, many reasons, and yeah. But when my dad saw my 2 brothers and he yelled at them, they felt justified. And they said to him, should he be allowed to treat me like a prostitute?
So, this is why that word protection is tricky for you.
Yeah. I know my dad was just trying to protect everybody, and my brothers were trying to defend me. I think they both did what they thought was best.
You're very wise.
Thanks.
And thank you for telling us your story.
Mm-hmm.
This is Dinah. What an incredible story of tragedy. A story that illustrates diverse response in high emotions. Be wise and consider the bigger picture, or vindicate the one you love and defend honor. Maybe you've been violated or felt unprotected. Maybe you wanted someone to fight for you, or wish in response to your pain they had acted in a less impulsive way. You know what I learned from Dinah? That we should aim to be less harsh in our judgments of one another. Sometimes people defend us and we don't even know it. Sometimes what looks like the absence of defense is a wiser way of protection. And if you've been there, then you know you're not the first, because it's been happening at least since Genesis chapter 34. And you know the drill. If you want to know what happens next, then go back to Genesis chapter 34 and just keep reading. Who said the Bible wasn't relational? Someone who clearly didn't